Hi there, welcome to my views and news. Just 24 hours, even less than 24 hours after receiving weapons from Egypt, Somalia's forces have started military drills. Which weapons are being tested, etc. Secondly, UN General Assembly session ongoing. Leaders from across the world are attending this UN General Assembly session. Ethiopian delegation is attending this summit with an agenda, the top point of which is about Somalia. What does Ethiopia want to achieve through this UN General Assembly session? What are Ethiopian delegations' engagements on the sidelines of this summit, this session of General Assembly in New York? Let's start from Somalia, viewers. Around 24 hours ago, more than 24 hours ago, Somalia received another shipment of weapons from Egypt, a cargo ship carrying huge quantities of weapons docked at Mogadishu port. Mogadishu port was closed, and then different types of armaments were seen leaving Mogadishu port towards different destinations. Several videos are circulating in social media showing artillery pieces, vehicles on their way from Mogadishu port to Somalia's military facilities. So, just around 24 hours have passed. Uh, and before, uh, and now Somalia forces have started military drills after receiving these weapons. It's not that officially they have started large military maneuvers, but the weapons which Somalia has received are being tested. By the way, are these weapons purchases or donations? It's not clear. Did Somalia purchase weapons from Egypt, or did Egypt donate these weapons to Somalia for free? No one knows. Uh, Quality of some weapons which we have seen is very poor. Outdated artillery pieces have been seen. Neighboring countries have more advanced weapons, by the way, in terms of artillery. Maybe Egypt will provide more. If these are donations, the quality of weapons could not be very high. Egypt would like to arm, it is arming Somalia. I think it is selling weapons to Somalia at reduced prices. And some of the shipments could be pure donations as well. Somalia's forces are familiarizing themselves with the use of these weapons. Somalia's forces are being trained in Egypt, by the way. Egyptian military training Somalia's forces. But these weapons newly received by Somalia are being tested. That is why uh, out of Mogadishu, in the outskirts of Mogadishu, you can say, small scale military drills are ongoing. Drills began yesterday. Some residents say that they have heard sounds of gunshots, sounds of heavy weapons for hours. They thought that maybe Al Shabaab had carried out an attack. But later it was revealed that the SNA, Somalia's national army, was conducting military drills in the outskirts of Mogadishu. Uh, yes, Somalia's military would like to test these weapons. It would like its people, its soldiers to be familiar with how to use these weapons. Somalia and Egypt are due to hold military deals too, which we heard about a few days ago. So far, it has not happened. But the weapons delivered from Egypt to Somalia are being tested by Somalia's forces, reportedly. Training activities underway. Egyptian troops are also involved, training Somalia's forces near Mogadishu. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopian delegation is attending UN General Assembly session, which kicked off today. UN is hosting heads of state in New York. This session ongoing. Ethiopia has sent a delegation with a specific agenda. The main concern for Ethiopia these days is growing Egyptian military presence in its neighborhood in Somalia. In January next year, Egyptian forces will formally take over the new peacekeeping mission in Somalia called AWESOME, African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia. And maybe by the end of this year, large portion of Ethiopian troops will have to leave Somalia. Ethiopia wants to convince neighboring countries, ATMOS partner countries, to form a joint front against Somalia. That is why Ethiopian delegation is holding meetings with Kenyan delegation, Ugandan delegation, Burundi's delegation. Ethiopia wants all these countries to agree on one point that Egypt should not be allowed to be the sole and the most important contributor to the new African Union peacekeeping mission in Somalia. Ethiopia has been questioning Egyptian military entry and presence in Somalia. Ethiopia does not want to be alone. It wants other ATMOS countries to be on its side. That is why the Ethiopian delegation is holding these meetings on the sidelines of UN General Assembly session. Ethiopia wants all ATMOS countries to issue a joint statement. They should not allow sole Egyptian influence in Somalia in 2025. Will Ethiopia succeed? Will Kenya, Uganda, Burundi support Ethiopian position? That remains to be seen. These countries cannot force their opinion on Somalia. They can only force Somalia through the US, through those countries which are paying the salaries of African Union forces in their peacekeeping operations. But this is one of the topmost agenda points on the agenda points which are being pursued by Ethiopian delegation in New York. Thank you for watching.